really coming on down is you work with it. You embrace it. You find the peace in yourself. It's not out there. It's very, very frustrating when people tell me they're going on a peace march. I have to step back because their life is not peaceful. Don't be mouthing off about a peace march when you're not there. It's insanity. It's a mismatch. It's disinformation, and it just can't work. So it'll be very interesting to see what this new moon brings in. Now, a new moon is always the day for you to hold new intentions. So you can hold the intention of a world that is filled with peace and unity and harmony. And you can truthfully look in your life to see where you are not at peace. And then do something about it. Most people I find are not willing to look. Granted, it's darn painful to look. It's the most painful thing I could ever suggest that you do. But until you do, you can't heal. And if you can't heal, your spouse can't heal. If your spouse can't heal, the children can't heal. If your children can't heal, your siblings can't heal. If the siblings can't heal, the neighborhood can't heal. If the neighborhood can't heal, the city can't heal. The city can't heal, the country can't heal. Country can't heal, the world cannot heal. And that's a pretty stiff thing to take a look at, because we're all looking to the other person for the answer. They don't have it, but you do. If you'll be quiet enough and honest enough and vulnerable enough. And over the weekend, I saw someone's pain who couldn't look. And my heart ached for this person. It's a person very near and dear to my heart. So the nearer and dearer that energy is, the more painful it is to see it. I saw it in New Jersey when the people can't address their hurt regarding and surrounding the catastrophe of 9/11. They can't look at the people who became millionaires from that incident, which means they knew long in advance. So you can see how difficult it is to look, to really look. And I have great compassion for your not looking and a great celebration that awaits you for your looking, because you heal and you are set free, and then you become the peace on the earth. You know, in my tender heart, I don't want to see you get sick. And that's one of the ways we do it. And what's that about? The hospitals are filled with people. They're flopping off. They can't even get in the door half the time, from what I'm understanding now. And yet, you know, it's a funny thing. We have this old expression. We've all heard it. And the truth will set you free. So it is because of a circle back, because of this day of endings, it's a time for you to examine, if you choose, some of these very, very profound thoughts. And at this point, I'm going to remind you, if you feel like calling in and, you know, are a little stuck somewhere, 321-806-3159. 321-806-3159. We did have Mercury last week that did go direct, which people who know anything about Mercury rules the mind and what we call lower thinking. That's not debased thinking. It's just kind of your everyday, ordinary thinking, and consciousness, and sort of lower grade awareness, if you will. But when this one now went direct in Virgo, under the sign of Virgo, because there is so much chaos and confusion, many people are still not even feeling the effects of it going direct because everything seems clouded and almost surreal. So that's kind of what's going on. Let me see here. We got the third wave. Oh, this is always interesting too. From September 26th, which was yesterday, until the 29th, there's what's called the third wave of 2016. And this is the strongest influx of energy in decades. You can become excited on the premise that you make the commitment to yourself, all right then, let's do it right. Let's use it correctly. Let's meditate, do a little contemplation, stay present. That's the biggest thing. And these frequencies that have actually begun, they accelerate the activity of something called the ascension. And this will continue for several weeks. Now, what do they mean by the ascension? This is not necessarily that you are going to be lifted up out of your snowy white bedroom and into some alien spacecraft. It is not that at all. It's not even the fact that you're going to rise from the dead and move on. Although in an odd way, hopefully you do rise from the dead, because many of you are the walking dead. And the ascension would be the walking dead decides, I no longer want to be the walking dead. I want to rise into a state of large, full consciousness. But it's your choice. I've long since given up begging, pleading, and cajoling. Number one, it's not mine to do. You are a free will entity, and I respect that. But I sure can share with you, kind of like a weatherman would share, oh, today it's going to be in the low something something, and the tides are this way and that way. I'm sharing with you the weather and the tides. And the tide is rising for you to ascend in awareness and consciousness. It's just that cycle. And this goes on to share, as I do, you may have noticed that the light does not step down now between the waves any longer. The light's on. Lights are on. Your path is illuminated. And so you have the capability of seeing and knowing. You do distort your ability to know as you keep affirming, I don't know. I don't know. Would you give up that mantra? It's inaccurate. You do know. It's a distortion to think you don't know. So if you can't say anything until you heal from that habit, that's fine. Just say nothing. That's better than I don't know. That's one of the biggest distortions you've been fed, and you've believed it. You are a conscious being of light. You know whatever needs to be known at any given moment. You may not know what's ahead of you in 3 weeks. We're not on 3 weeks from now. You're on this minute, this hour, this day. So, galactically speaking, astrologically speaking, and numerologically speaking, there's a whole lot happening. A whole lot. I wish I knew how many of you had ever even heard of the I Ching. The I Ching is an oracle. And the I Ching is probably the oldest oracle known to mankind. At least it's the oldest one I've heard of. I'm sure that those who are so steeped in ancient knowledge, they probably have something even bigger and better. But the I Ching offers such profound information. The I Ching, I think I fell in love with the I Ching when I fell in love with Feng Shui. The I Ching has Feng Shui on its shoulders. The I Ching is the infrastructure of anything that is balanced. The I Ching talks about the waxing and the waning of yin and yang energies. So for those of you that feel like dabbling, get yourself a simple book in it and just begin. Begin one step at a time. But there's a fantastic message today from one of the hexagrams in the I Ching, and it's called the 34th hexagram, and it's known as great power. And this particular hexagram, and this will resonate with some of my listeners up in the Northeast that have heard me speak on the I Ching. Well, today's message from it is, this is a time of great power, and therefore the correct use of this power is of paramount concern. Inherent rightness and relaxed naturalness are important when great force comes to the surface. And there is such great force coming to the surface, and this is good right on through Saturday. So you're going to need to be in a state of rightness within your spirit, and a state of, and this is a hard one, relaxed naturalness. If you want to learn something, be still and humble. For deep wisdom is itself the root of power. So it's cautioning you, be very, very humble and still. This is really a 4-day period of doing by non-doing. And that's very much a Zen concept, doing by non-doing. Interesting with this, it's a time where, unfortunately, or for good news, bad news, really, that it's almost a test of your character, these 4 days. And interestingly, someone yesterday in my world, I didn't know, I was the administrator of a test. And here's what the test involved. I had graciously agreed to help a friend move a little piece of furniture from one place to another place. And the place we were moving to happened to be her office. And there was a kind of a space that maybe the UPS truck would park in and things like that, the FedEx guy. And because it was closest to the door, and this piece it took 2 of us to handle it on a dolly. So my friend suggested, place the car here. It'll be fine. And I thought, oh boy, it's not feeling great, but okay. And we got this piece out and wheeled it back into her office. And very shortly thereafter comes the knock on the door. Does anyone own such and such a car? And my heart sank because, yep, that would be me. And we walked out, and here was the test. The person who did a lot of damage to the car seemed to disappear into the ethers. So the test didn't go well for them. Yeah, maybe they got off without owning what they had done. Maybe so. Maybe they were scared. You know, we're all scared to tell the truth and own up. I don't know any of us are not. Maybe you'd have to be living on a mountaintop somewhere. So what a disappointing thing for this person, because the test next time for them will be stronger. And it's a test of character. No name, not even slipping under the windshield wiper. So sorry, have to run. That would have helped her character or his character. But I do think it was a her. So, you see, when things like this happen to you, I actually took full credit for my part in the situation. I was not parked appropriately. Oddly, you get to split hairs. It was appropriate for the task at hand. So, you always have to look at, well, own your part. And I own my part. But there's your part. So that's all the news that's fit to print on that stuff. Now I want to talk about something that happened last evening in the United States. I will share this with you. I am absolutely apolitical. I can't go down that pathway. It's too contentious and has been for many, many years. And from what my inner eye sees about the various players for as long as I've been alive,